What's up, guys? Sportsmafia back here to tell you that there have been some bad NFL contracts and there have been some terrible NFL contracts. Today we're going to be talking about the worst NFL contracts in history. Shaun Alexander is probably the second best running back in Seattle Seahawks history behind Marshawn Lynch. In 2005, he won the NFL rushing title with 1,880 yards while leading the NFC for the second consecutive year. In 2005, he joined Emmitt Smith, Priest Holmes, and Marshall Faulk as the only running backs to record consecutive seasons of 20 or more touchdowns. He was also awarded the NFL MVP award in 2005. The following season in 2006, he signed an 8-year, $62 million contract with the Seahawks. Alexander never reached 1,000 rushing yards again and was forced to retire 3 years into his fresh contract. His contract was the highest for a running back in NFL history at the time, and it turned out to be an extremely poor move by the Seahawks. JaMarcus Russell is probably known as the biggest bust in NFL history. He played college football at LSU, where he finished 21-4 as a starter and was named MVP of the 2007 Sugar Bowl. Then, the Oakland Raiders selected Russell with the first overall pick in the 2007 NFL Draft. Russell held out playing until the Raiders signed him to a contract worth $61 million with $32.5 million guaranteed over 6 years. Russell played just 3 seasons with the Raiders and had a 7-18 record as a starter and threw just 18 touchdowns compared to his 38 turnovers. Due to his inconsistent play and his work ethic being called into question, the Raiders released him in May of 2010. With signing Russell to a huge rookie contract before him even throwing one pass in the NFL, the Raiders now look stupid by signing him to one of the worst contracts in NFL history. Donovan McNabb is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. In 2004, he led the Eagles to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, but unfortunately lost. In 2010, the Eagles traded McNabb to the Redskins for a second-round pick, third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick in the 2011 NFL Draft. In Week 8 of the season, the Redskins signed McNabb to a 5-year deal worth $78 million with $3.5 million guaranteed. Later in that same season, McNabb was benched in favor of Rex Grossman. McNabb was then traded to the Minnesota Vikings following the 2010 season, and the Redskins now signed McNabb to one of the worst contracts in NFL history. Daunte Culpepper had a historic season in 2004. Culpepper had a league-leading 4,717 passing yards with 39 touchdowns and only 11 interceptions. He broke Dan Marino's NFL record for combined passing and rushing yards with 5,123 total yards. Following the 2004 season, Culpepper cashed in on his historic season with the Minnesota Vikings by signing a 10-year, $102 million contract. Culpepper struggled with injuries in the following season and never returned back to his former self. He was constantly bickering with coaches and was eventually traded to the Miami Dolphins after only 1 year into his new contract. I bet the Vikings regret signing him to that huge deal now, huh? DeAngelo Hall was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons with the 8th overall pick in the 2004 NFL Draft. During his 3-year career with the Falcons, he showed promise by being the best cornerback on the team. But in 2007, he was sentenced to 23 months in prison on dogfighting charges. In 2008, the Falcons traded Hall to the Raiders, where he signed a 7-year, $70 million contract with the Raiders. His lone season with the Raiders in 2008 was pathetic. His performance during those 8 games was terrible. He was constantly beat in man-to-man coverage and looked awful with the team. After only playing 8 games with Oakland, he was then released, and it was considered to be the worst contract signing in Raiders history. Before Michael Vick went to prison, he was considered one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He had a huge arm and could make any defender miss with his legs. Since he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Vick signed a 9-year, $130 million extension with the Atlanta Falcons following the 2004 season. Just 3 years into his contract, Michael Vick was sentenced to 21 months in prison due to a dog-fighting scandal. The general public and the media both hated Vick after pleading guilty to that scandal. However, the fact that he nearly ruined the entire Atlanta Falcons franchise is why this is one of the worst contracts in the history of the NFL. Albert Haynesworth was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the 2002 NFL Draft and played his first 7 NFL seasons with the team. Haynesworth was considered to be the most dominant defensive tackle in the league during his time with the Titans. He was a highly coveted free agent following the 2008 season and signed a 7-year, $100 million contract with the Washington Redskins. The signs of his decline were imminent the second he walked into the facilities of the Redskins. He was out of shape, lazy, and in constant verbal battles with the coaching staff. During his entire time with the team, Haynesworth only started in 12 games. His total stats with the Redskins saw Haynesworth record only 53 tackles and 6.5 sacks over the course of 2 seasons. This contract is without a doubt the worst contract in the history of the NFL. That's it for today's Sports Mafia video. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below and let me know what you'd like my next video to be about. And if you like this video, please subscribe.